set?
When you're ready.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for attending tonight's meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals public hearing. It's 6 o'clock, Friday, November 15th, 2024, and we're at the Town Office Building. I'd like to call I'll read the whole thing. It's an administrative appeal for a property variance. The property is owned by Peter Donnelly and Amy Hoffman, and Lacey Donnelly is the applicant, and it's located at 65 Pratt Road. So having gone through all of that, I'll call the meeting to order unless there's any objections. But I'm sure you'd all want this to get to order since you're all here. Seconded?
Second.
Okay, so done? So far, so good. We do have a quorum. 3 of the 5 possible folks are here. So we do have a quorum to make this. And I, once again, make my appeal to anybody who's interested to please consider joining the Zoning Board of Appeals or any other thing you can possibly do to contribute to the community. We desperately need more people as the town's growing and responsibilities are growing. Thank you. End of my editorial. I determined conflicts of interest. I know I don't have any. I don't believe we do have any. Anybody here know of any conflicts of interest regarding this? Okay. Excuse me. I'll summarize the nature of the appeal, and that is the applicant, Lacey Donnelly, is appealing an action by our code enforcement officer that denied the building permit application on 10/15/24. The application was received on 10/15/24. It's located on tax map RO3, lot 19, 65 Pratt Road. The appeal is being requested because of the requested size of the cabin they want to build is below any of the town requirements. It's approximately 192 square feet, rounded to 200, and that's significantly below what's required, thus the appeal. Has already went through the parties to the action. The appellants, Peter Donnelly and Amy Hoffman, owner Lacey Donnelly, but now that we're officially started, I'll say it again. And the CEO, Jesse Winters and Eric Fry. Hey, we do have, we have all the folks there. Well, unless there's anything else, I'm going to open up the meeting for the public hearing, which is the purpose of today. I'll just read here again. Thank you very, very much to Desiree for incredible taking care of all this stuff and making sure it all makes sense so I can sit here and sound like I know what I'm doing when I did it all. I didn't. The abutter notices were mailed on 11/4/24. Do you know approximately how many there were sent out?
I actually have 12.
12, yeah, thought so. Okay.
They're more than, or a lot.
We also advertised in the shopping guide that was sent on 10/31, and I recall seeing that the notice of this meeting was there. Moving down to the next testimony, which always sounds a little ominous, but in support, opposition. I see we have quite a few folks here. I'll open the floor to the general discussion. I assume you all understand what's being requested here, why there's the variance, and the backgrounds, why the request for the variance, and why we're all here for that. If not, I'll just open up the floor to anything that anyone else would want to add in support or opposition.
I'm Robert Sawyer. I'm an abutter. I didn't write a letter. I think it's an appropriate use of the land, and I have no objection.
Okay. And you're aware that they also, it's my understanding, the intent is also perhaps renting it, the property out as well.
I'm sorry.
I actually was just, one of the things I noticed in the application that they'd like to turn it into a business and, this would be leased and so on and so forth. So you'd have,
That's, I hate to say, because that's my only question, is it what, a short-term rental? Basically, okay.
well, yeah,
Well, that's if it's over for business,
that's stated in their plans though, that, yeah, it would be used as a business
and
at
that's
their cost.
okay through, because that area is zoned for farm and forestry, correct?
No.
Yes.
Well, sorry, you're correct on the zoning, but the
Okay.
reason for this is the structure they want to build is,
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
less than 200 square feet, and that doesn't fit in any of the
okay.
plus.
Didn't know that, yeah.
Yep,
So, Mr. Chair, it could be a vacation rental.
exactly. It would be determined as a vacation rental. And,
Okay.
but well, that brings in a whole nother set of requirements. So we've received all the input. Everything that we've received is generally is positive. Yep, I'm sorry.
I don't want to be the one that puts the damper on their plans. They've been more than helpful. They've done everything that I've asked.
I'm sorry, could you identify, would you mind just,
I'm Eric Frey, the
Eric Frey.
CEO.
I'm sorry, thank you, sir. Thank you, just because we're recording.
Yep, they've done everything we've asked. They've definitely done their due diligence. But I do have to stress that the town has an ordinance in place that is 600 square feet. If we allow a building to go up that's less than 600 square feet, it will open the door for anybody else in this town that wants to do the same thing. And anywhere. I mean, I think they do have a perfect place for this. And I applaud them for wanting to not disrupt the land around their cabin. They want to keep it pristine, and I do applaud them. But we do have an ordinance in town that it's my job and the code enforcement's job to uphold that ordinance. And we have it written as 600 square feet. And it comes down to a safety issue. Size and safety go hand in hand. So I just want you to take that under advisement, that if you grant this, you're going against the town ordinance for the size requirement.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate it.
I have
Yes.
a question. What would be the safety issue?
The state, even the state and national standards say that certain dwellings have to be of a certain size, bedrooms have to be of a certain size. So you're putting up a dwelling it's less than 200 square feet. So basically, a 10 by 10 bedroom is only 100 square feet. That's a very small space. And and means of egress from those spaces, if windows aren't upgraded to, if there was a fire in the living room and there's no kitchen, I understand. But if there's a fire on one end of the building, you have to be able to get out the other end of the building. So that's our health and safety issue and I think that's why the town adopted the 600 square feet.
Also, this is an A-frame, correct? A true A-frame?
No, it's a
No.
cabin.
So it does have knee walls and all, okay.
88 feet.
Okay.
Are you all set?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'd like to say something.
Yes, of course.
So I'm Lacey Donnelly, the applicant. I do want to, just to Eric's comment, we do have, the plan is to have 2 egress windows in there besides the door, so I did think about that. Also, I just want to make sure you guys are aware about the, new state law that went into effect July 1st for all municipalities, about accessory dwelling units, and I do have 7 copies.
Is that the LD 2003?
I can't tell you the LD because this is the state statute. I don't have the LD. But I do have copies of the state statute if you'd like to look at it. I have copies for everybody. The implementation date was July 1st, 2024 for all municipalities. And it states that an accessory dwelling unit must meet a minimum size of 190 square feet. And then the International Building Code says that a room they're living in can be down to 70 square feet. So a room used for anything besides the kitchen, and this is basically one room. But just regardless of that, the state law now is 190 square feet for a minimum, so.
Want to take that one?
The town has also adopted the LD 2003.
2003.
And we have a minimum size of 410 square feet.
Correct.
And that would be in opposition to state
And then
law.
also it has to be on your primary residence.
Correct, it is.
Right, well,
This is
you're
still-
leasing the property
Leasing it.
now, so it's not on your primary residence. Means that you do not have a home on the property that you would want to put this ADU on. Because if he wants to put the ADU on, it's one thing. And the ADU would still have to be 410 square feet. So you didn't even come close to that. And that's the town ordinance
Right,
that
but
we've already adopted. We've already adopted the 410 square feet for the ordinance of the LD 2003. So you're not meeting that criteria either.
The town can be more restrictive than the state.
that is not what the law says.
It can't be less restrictive.
It says you can be less restrictive, but not more restrictive.
I don't think so.
I think they-
MMA will say that a town can be more restrictive, but they can't be less than restrictive than the state statute.
Correct. That's my understanding as well.
Yeah. So the planning board went back and forth on the minimum ADU requirements. That was almost a full workshop meeting on the size and trying to figure out what was best for the town
Agreed.
Before or after July 1st?
before.
Long before.
Yeah, this was,
This has been under discussion for 2 years, probably, LD,
well,
that first rule.
we had to have it approved. Sorry, bear with me real quick. We had to have it approved before, I believe, July 1st. So there should have been a public hearing in June.
May I speak again? So
Yes, Chris, the chair
I
recognizes.
believe that this appeals board, granted, I won't say I'm green here, I'm still new to this, but I believe that the coming in for the appeals board means that you have to have a hardship, a reason why you can't come to the standards of the town requirements. Or grandfathered aspect. So
Actually,
this isn't actually happening, so I think, again, we just have to keep with the town ordinance.
Yeah.
And we have to abide by the town ordinance, because if we start making changes to the town ordinance or granting permission for people to work outside the ordinance, then it's going to further open up the door for other people to come forward to this board.
So one of the selectmen just texted me and she said that we did approve it before July 1st. I'm pretty sure the
yeah,
public hearing was near the end of June
yeah.
to get that approved.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I just don't understand how it jives with the state law that,
Well, it's not a state law, it's their recommendation, but we can change that, and the people didn't want that. You know, they wanted it something a little, they approved all the zoning requirements and so on, there were, so, I mean, it's what the town wanted. The town really wants to avoid lots of very small cabins, that's my opinion, and also going back to the 2019 town-wide questionnaire and all the things I've been involved in as well. But, that's the reason for the numbers. It was the town and everyone had a chance to weigh in on it. Everything's been transparent.
the hardships are for the other appeal. There's two appeal, you gave me
Right, so
4 pages.
so there's the appeal, which is the CEO's denial of your permit, and then there's the variance. So ultimately, when I put this together, it was the appeal for the code enforcement's denial of the building permit. We could definitely look at the hardships.
I
There are
did
the four.
in that paper,
Yeah,
I put 4 hardships in there.
Right. So the thing with the hardships is you need to meet all 4. So if for some reason you don't meet one of them, it's,
And that's
then you don't meet all of them.
Yeah, so-
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to go over the hardships now or if you want to wait.
It-
Yes,
Is this still a public meeting?
we're still in the public hearing portion.
Question?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just listening to this whole thing. I was gonna ask, what the minimum square footage was, but I guess it was answered by, the assistant CEO. It's, 600 square feet.
Well, there's two, depending on how you go, but could be 410 if you,
Okay, let's say it's 410 then. And I was gonna ask the question, why is it? And I guess it was answered by Eric Craig, because it's a fire hazard. And then I was thinking, well, how many of these structures can you put up on your property? If you were to put up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I'm
6.
pretty sure you can only have one ADU.
Correct.
And one ADU is for a family member?
No, ADUs can be for anything. So it's one ADU per lot. And it has to be, so the definition is a separate dwelling unit that has been added on, created within, or a single-family house, or a separate standalone structure for the purpose of providing living accommodations accessory to the primary residence within a minimum square footage of 410 and a maximum of 800 square feet. So like an in-law apartment attached to the house over the
So it has
garage.
to be a relative? Doesn't have to be a relative,
It doesn't say anything about a relative.
just a, okay.
yeah, but I don't,
The owner has to live,
The owner has to live in the primary residence. Yes.
and was it created for an in-law apartment, or was it created for an income issue?
it was primarily, the whole law was, I'm
So
sorry,
this application, are you saying,
Well,
or in general?
let's say anything.
the law started because of the hardships that people were going through. I mean, a lot of kids having to come home and live with their grandparents, things, that's what started the whole discussion 4 years ago.
Would you say hardship is having a rental or vacation?
Or hardship is having a rental. I can't comment on that one way or the other.
I just didn't know what hardship was. Hardship.
No, I don't believe so. I mean, if there's I don't, that's beyond what I would get into at this particular meeting.
I just heard hardship, that's all.
Well, we were talking about the hardships for a
The
variance.
hardship of an individual, for instance, your kids can't afford an apartment.
Sure, I get it.
So that's
I
the
get it.
hardship type of thing.
There's actually specific
Yeah, there's,
questions and
Yeah.
those were the questions.
Okay, well, I heard rental, vacation rental, so I was thinking that wasn't really a hardship. Okay. Just asking, that's all.
Yep, no. Any other questions, testimony, opposition? I mean, okay. See, board discussion now? I think we're ready. Oh, sorry, we have to,
I don't have it on there, but you should close the public hearing.
I'm sorry, you're right. Okay, any final comments, any testimony? I think we've heard everything. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just,
Please, Jeff.
so we have, so the town voted to have these regulations put in place,
There, yeah,
410 square feet.
well, yeah.
And you can change it down to 192.
The town can, they could, submit it and change it through the normal process. the
Normal
town
process
approval.
of getting X amount of signatures and put it on the.
Sure,
on
so
the-
change the ordinance. I mean, it's an ordinance. yeah.
Right, but can the zoning board change the ordinance on its own?
No, not they,
You basically have to follow the guidelines that the charter.
if they want to change it, they have, well, yes, of course, they would have to follow the guidelines in the charter, but I would think, but if they are going to change something in the zoning, it would have to, if they're changing the zoning law, it would have to come back before, a town meeting, special meeting, things like that. They can't just, those people just can't decide arbitrarily what to do.
Right, okay.
At least if they do, I know a couple of people that'll be there to stop them. Okay, sorry.
You're going to officially close it.
Yes, thank you very much. Board discussion, I believe we'll officially close it. So the discussion is now closed.
Okay.
All right. The summary of the discussion is basically, the the peers, and please, folks, if I characterize something incorrectly, please say so. This is, going both ways here. The neighbors, are in support of it. I also have to say, you're building a quality structure, it's not a piece of crap, pardon my use of the term. But of course, we're also up against what the zoning ordinances are, which have been approved by the majority of the people and, gone through, discussions and before. So that's the loggerhead. I think I kind of summarized it correctly. Your objective, you want to have a small cabin nicely put in there. You like to have it for, a business, generate some income from it. I think we understand that. And, obviously you're a good steward of the land since, your neighbors are there to tell you, supporting you. I do appreciate that. I always appreciate good stewards of the land. Do you have any comments, anything?
I actually have a question. Were you aware of the ordinance, or the town's ordinance when you started this project?
Yes.
That you knew that it was very small? And now it's can be even smaller, 410 square feet.
All right.
Yeah, I would just say, I appreciate it's not untrue, the business aspect of it, but it's also for family purposes.
Sure.
You
No,
know,
I understand.
And, accessory dwelling units
Yep, true.
a purpose also of someone being able to live and provide home care to their family member. And so if this, small place was there and my father needs care, I'll be able to live there or stay on weekends and care for him as well. So, it's not, yes, it would be great if it made a little side income, but it's also for family purposes. So I just want to make sure. That's
Sure, but a business as well. Okay. I think that's it. Do you have any comments as well? Anything?
I have to agree with Eric on, that this is a precedent-setting application. I believe if we do approve, a variance of this nature, it's gonna open the door for many, many applications like this to come through. I do know the planning board worked, they had like I said, a full workshop meeting working to get to the 410. And they were working with Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission as well. So that wasn't just a number we pulled out of a hat. That was a number that, they worked with the planning commission to get, something that was gonna work for the town. Yeah, that's.
Okay.
And I agree with Eric too, and I agree on the safety issue. That's scary, a fire and trying to get out of the house quickly. A door is easy to get out, a window, I don't know.
Egress windows are really large. It's 36 by 30.
No, these are egress windows. They're not-
Specifically, they would be
They're
egress
designed to
windows.
get in and out or to out.
The size of the door?
And regular standard door size, it's in the application.
Okay. Well, I think,
From floor to ceiling?
The door,
No, the windows.
I believe.
Are
they're
they the
36
size of this
I
door?
believe they're 36 by 30. It's in the application. I asked for 2 egress windows in the building that I had yes for. So one door has 2 egress windows in a 16 by 12.
Egress window is just a certain amount of square inches that the body can fit through,
Right,
so it's not a floor to ceiling.
maybe not everybody, but
Well,
most of the bodies can fit through.
that's actually part of my concern.
Yeah. I
You
agree.
know,
Especially if you
we
have
do, we do allow egress windows and we look at those as a positive thing, to have an egress window.
Correct. I'm just thinking of an elderly person. You just mentioned maybe a family member cared for, and I'm just wondering how they can quickly get out of the type of window.
I would stay in the cabin and care for him in his house. His house is on the same property.
I think from the town's perspective that, like she just mentioned that if we start deviating the path from what we've written in our ordinances, and, you know, it just opens the door for everybody to start coming before you and saying, can we have this too?
I would also, I would deny the application for those exact same reasons that, you know, having been through many of these discussions, you know, the town really does not want to have lots of tiny houses, even if they're beautiful and so on and so forth. You know, townspeople have spoken through the approval of the ordinances and the public hearings that were held for that and the discussions on, you know, coming up to the 410 from the 200. That's just not what the people want. And if you look at the recently passed comprehensive plan as well, you know, that same thinking is going through as well through the rest of the town. So I'm sorry, but I would also have to vote no. So I believe the conclusion is that we have to deny your appeal. Although, again, I share everybody's here, your application was exquisite, well done. I know that doesn't mean anything when, you know, you get that, but, you know, if you can go to 411, you know, give us, you know, 410, give us an extra foot just in case.
So clarifying question about the square footage. What if does the second floor count as square footage? Say that there was 2 stories and the footprint was still, you know, similar, but it was 2 stories.
So I believe that we do not go, that would be considered cubic footage. And I don't believe that the town uses cubic footage because like if somebody wants to put a mobile home on a lot, it has to be at least 14 feet wide by, you know, 40 feet long to make the 600 square feet. Or better than that, actually. So I don't think we count we don't do cubic footage, we do square footage. We do.
And how would somebody
I mean,
get out of that window from the second floor?
I would have to be honest with you, I'd have to clarify that, but I'm quite certain that we look at a mobile home that has to meet a certain criteria in size, length, and width to be up to 600 square feet. So second floor on a dwelling, I do not believe it counts.
And it's different than like real estate when they say it's so many square foot.
Yeah,
They count all the
correct.
rooms.
Oh, yeah, your basement, your unfinished basement and stuff, you know,
But that's different, it's different.
900 square feet.
I can certainly clarify that for you.
Yeah, if you could, that would be great, because I thought that might be an option.
That would,
You
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 know, could
do
do a
have to pay
second.
tax on it, even though.
Right, yeah, yeah, but so
Yeah.
the funny thing is, I think in this town, we don't tax you on the livable square footage, actually on the square footage of the dwelling.
Really? It really is.
I believe, I could be wrong on that.
Well, oops. You know,
I'm not sure how to word a motion other than to deny, so you wanna help me out there, Judy?
Sure, just, I would like to make a motion that we deny the application for map R03, lot 19 on Pratt Road in Parsonsfield, Maine.
second? And so carried.
All in favor?
All in favor? I'm sorry. So carried. I hate to bash people's dreams, but it's the law, and I sometimes I also have to look at knowing the intent. I'm sorry.
Can you move to the next slide? I'm not gonna take it to the Superior Court, I just don't need it.
On the agenda?
I'm sorry.
Read the next line for her.
I got all messed up here. Yes. You have the right to appeal to a Superior Court within 45 days of tonight's decision. But hopefully you won't, and you can find the resources to get to 410, and you'll get your dream, and everyone will be happy, even the town. And you don't want to make the town angry. No, I'm kidding. Anything else? I think that's it. Then,
Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
And I second it.
Seconded. The meeting is closed. And again, thank you all for your participation, your patience, and the thoroughness of your application and the support that your neighbors showed you.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
Thank you all for
It speaks very well for you that your neighbors support, it's, come out so much for you.
Oh, thank you.